now. There's so many that are, there's a lot of Jamaicans that live, a lot of my friends even, that are there and they're getting care packages. I think they know strategically how to do it. You can't
Many that are,
over inundate, over inundate. I think I said that wrong. Just because like with Hurricane Andrew, people wanted to help, but there were piles of clothes, people couldn't get them to the people that needed them. So I think we've come a long way.
Yes, we have. All right. Good morning, Betsy.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Hey.
I had a hard time getting in for some reason. It was
Yay, it's not just me.
it was not just you.
No, but I mean, I feel like it's technology because I'm not as
No. And what was weird is that Terry, it said that the meeting hadn't been started by Joy yet.
Oh,
That was weird, huh?
yeah, it's funny, I came in and Martin and Betty were on. So I just sat down. I never even, looked at the computer. I didn't, Bob had started. He left when he thought it was on.
For Rob? I don't know.
Huh.
And I talked to Martin and
Yeah. Well,
We did the Weather Channel already, Betsy. We covered the sad weather.
Oh, okay. Well, did you cover all of the Weather Channel? Because we can start with weather because I've got a bunch of weather apps that I wanted to talk about.
oh,
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I would.
Okay. So, how many people well, let's do a survey first. What weather app do you use?
gotta look. Just a minute.
My radar.
My radar, yep.
I use the Apple, the Apple app on the iPhone. It just says weather. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
But if there's like a storm or something, I think I used to go to Weather Underground, NOAA. I went to the NOAA site. And there was one other I can't remember right now.
Okay, other ones?
Weather Channel.
Weather Channel?
I got Max Trackers keeps popping up, so I know I'm getting alerts from Max Tracker.
Yeah, I get
I don't
that
know
too.
that one.
Well,
Yeah, that's from ABC News, I think, in South Florida. Max, what was his name? What was his name?
good question. I guess, yeah, it's probably, yeah. So it tells you what's going on.
Everybody used to listen to him because he was right, spot on.
It says Max Tracker Hurricane WPLG is
That's it.
powered by Betty Davis, Chief Meteorologist Betty Davis, and
Not the same Betty Davis.
Storm Surge Specialist Michael Lowry.
Yeah, but it used to be years ago, Max something or other was the chief meteorologist on that channel.
Uh-huh.
And, everybody used to listen to him. Jeez, I can't remember.
I'm trying to scroll down and see if I can find it. I can't find anything.
But that was also very good.
So here's the Max Tracker app.
Yep,
Yeah.
I have that.
Okay, good. That one's going to be very, very specific.
Yes.
I'm going to guess more South Florida centralized, but obviously they're going to cover wherever, right? I mean,
any hurricanes. It's like
Yeah.
hurricane.
Interesting. Good to know. So we'll start with this one since I'm unfamiliar with this one. First thing I'm going to do when I look at any app is I'm going to look and see how many reviews there are and what the stars are. So it's 4.5 out of 5, so that's great. And how many people said that? 7.43 thousand reviews. So that's really good. How many people downloaded it? Over 100,000. That's really good. And it's marked for everyone. So that's a good start right there, is that people don't seem to have a lot of complaints about it. So then I'm going to scroll down a little bit and I'm going to get to the About This app and click that arrow next to it. And this is for any app whatsoever. Can you see the pop-up that just happened here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then it gives you a little bit more details about it, what exactly it's going to cover, live local 10 news storm coverage, what the versions are. This particular one requires Android version 9 and up, but there is also an Apple version. I just happened to click on the Google one. When was it last updated? September 10th, 2025. So that's very good. It shows you what kind of permissions you need. So when you're going to use it, let's think about it. It's not, you're going to need location, right? I mean, this is kind of what you're talking about. And it has the option for all of these permissions, photo and media, Wi-Fi connection, obviously, storage. So those are the kind of permissions that it's going to ask you. And I would say, for a good part, you probably want these. Now, down below, it says you can disable access for these permissions on your device settings. And that's going to be, a choice you make. But I would definitely do location. And when it says things like it's going to delete this or do that, it's not like it's targeting you specifically to delete things in a nefarious way. All right, so then it says keep your family safe, download the free app. Data safety, so it talks about how it collects your information. You can tap on that arrow and it'll show what kind of data is shared. Basically, this helps keep things running. What it really does want is your precise location. It does not collect your user data, and data is encrypted. So that sounds good. Now let's go back and see. Going back. Did it go-
Betsy,
Yeah.
it's Max Mayfield, and he was the director of the National Hurricane Center for.
That-
Oh,
that's it.
okay.
Yeah.
Max Mayfield. I've
Yeah,
been
I found
trying
it.
to
It was driving you all crazy, wasn't it?
It was.
driving me crazy.
He was the director
All
of
right.
the. Yeah.
So here, when we're looking at a particular app, ratings and reviews, just to go over it a little bit, how many people gave it a 5? A lot. How many people gave it 1s? Not so much. Definitely not so many, even less 2s and 3s. People were not ambivalent about it. So let's look and tap on the arrow. And here we can see what do we want to look at. Right now it's saying for the phone, most relevant, and the star rating. I can also say the newest or, by rating. I can go by star rating. So I want to see, what did the 1 stars say? Because that's as important as the glowing reviews. So what were some of the things, and they might not matter to you. This person, Lauren, is a pilot, and so it's very important for her to have accurate weather. And she says she was disappointed with the Android version. It wasn't nearly as good radar as the iPhone version. Okay. My radar starts with how things were and doesn't stop until some point in the future. In South Florida, let's see. Whatever loop error was fixed doesn't appear to be working as it should. So they're concerned about the radar again. Same one. I had this app for many years, used to be great. Nothing really works on it anymore. Shows only blank screens. Now, sometimes, and it's very useful, when somebody says something like this, is to look and see, does the app developer respond? And sometimes they do. It doesn't look like they are in this. This year, I'm unable to access the app. It's downloaded, but no information available. Well, all right, let's just talk about that for a minute. What should you do if that's the case?
Say your question again.
The review said it they used to use it. Let me just go back to it. They said they used to use it. Oh, hang on. Where's my share? Go away. For heaven's sakes. My share button went away. Well, isn't that strange? Share screen.
They're
All
saying
right,
that,
let's
that-
go back to it. Okay, so what they said was, where's the first one I found? Okay. I love this app as it kept us in the Caribbean up to date on storms. This is Lunita Wallace. This year, I'm unable to access the app. It's downloaded, but no information is available. So, as tech smart people, what would you do?
Try to reinstall it or get a new version phone.
Yeah,
Okay.
make sure
So
it's
you would,
updated.
uninstall it and then reinstall it.
Yeah.
Making sure that the updates on your phone, because it may be a problem that her device is not updated and so can't keep up with the data that this app is trying to push through,
Mhm.
right? So,
Mhm.
might be a personal problem. Just saying. So when I look at reviews, I like to look at the very worst and say, okay, so, do I look at a weather app solely for the radar? Or do I have multiple apps on my phone so that I've got my radar, I've got Weather Underground. I may be looking at several, and then I just forgot what the one we were looking at was called. Is that one called?
Max
Max.
Tracker.
Tracker.
Max Tracker. I'm writing that one down to add that to the list.
Mhm.
So, not one app is not going to rule them all,
Mhm.
right? Sometimes if you're looking for something very, very specific, particularly with weather, because it's very important to get good information, you may want to look at a variety of models, right? I'm going to go to a web page. And it started out, it was not specifically an app. I believe it is an app now. Grab my share button. My mouse is just acting so weird today. I'm just having to touch everything. How many people are familiar with Mike's weather page?
That's what I was just gonna, that's why I raised my hand.
So Mike's weather page is that's all I typed in was Mike's weather page. But what it is actually, the address is spaghettymodels.com. And what is that about? Well, anybody who lives in Florida knows what spaghetti models are. That's
Yeah.
this stuff, right?
Mhm.
When you're looking at a specific map and you're looking to see, what's happening and what are the trajectories, what are the guesses. And when you get, there we go. Okay, so when you look at these, they're all going to be very different. This one looks very much the same, which is interesting because sometimes it'll have them going, woo, way over to the Gulf of Mexico, and then it's going out into the Bahamas, and then it's going to Bermuda, and just different paths altogether. But it looks like they fairly much agree on this. Very, very few stray. Here's an outlier. Here's an outlier, and this one's an outlier. Now, each of these, let me go back to here. Each of those are going to be for very specific places. One is the European model. They all have different. Here is a list of the model acronyms. So, you want to see what are these specifically talking about, and there they are. What is a LBAR? What is what are each of these things? What do they stand for? And I don't know what NHC is. National
Hurricane Center?
Hurricane Center, probably. Thank you. Original Hurricane Center forecast, combination of CLP5. So that's going to give you more data about, so this is a much more scientific, nerdy kind of page, right? The Mike's model.
It's
But
meteorologist talk.
yes, exactly. So when you look at something that is, wow, is this so weird? It's something when I know you can't see my mouse moving, but when I get on something that I actually want to click on, my mouse goes behind it.
Hmm.
I have never seen this happen before. Somehow my share button got moved too, which is interesting. Move my share back to the middle of the screen, and my mouse is still hanging behind, which is so weird. Thankfully, I have a touch screen. Anyway, so ways to get around technology. So anyway, you've got, your regular weather channels, Weather Underground, My Radar, the Apple Weather app, all of these things, the Weather Channel. And where do they get that information? They get that information from the actual raw data, like the spaghetti models page. Mike's page is really what they're looking at. That's how they're coming up with and interpreting and then giving it to you in a digestible, easy to understand way that we're familiar with. When you start delving into Mike's weather page, which I kind of enjoy sometimes, you really get a sense of there's a lot more going on here. We are so truly, truly lucky when we can just open up our weather and go, okay, it's 46 degrees. Rain is expected around noon, light to moderate rain. And, you know, uh, I'm updating permissions while we're going on. Notifications off, permissions, location. Screen time. Okay, those are good. So I've given it some permission. And then it's going to tell me, exactly this is easily digestible information that we don't have to think much about. They give us little pictures like we're children, honestly. How many rain dots are there? How bad is the rain? Well, first thing this morning, not so bad, but how many dots have we got? It's kind of really sort of childish when you think about it. But that's what they do to develop these things and make them so that the average person can understand. Terry, you had your hand up. And then Medina.
Funny, I was gonna say, raise my hand before to say Mike's. And this morning, instead of going and look it up, I Googled Bob's weather because I just could not think of what person's name was. And it came right up as Mike's weather, without hesitation, it came up as Mike's weather. So it must have been man's name, whatever it was so funny because it usually comes out something different. The name of a town turns out to be a person or I thought that was
think that you put in Bob's weather and it just came up with the right thing. That's very good. All right. So any other Medina, sorry.
No, just a brief side story. So there's a guy here in Boone. He was a professor in the computer department at App State here. And ever since he was a kid, he loved the weather. And so when he was a kid, his parents bought him a weather kit, which moved him on to something more sophisticated. And his wife got him something very sophisticated many years ago for his birthday. Well, now he's got a website. It's Ray's Weather, I think, but I think it's the website is booneweather.com. And he is more accurate than anyone on TV for the local weather. And every once in a while, he gets it wrong and he'll write, oops, sorry about that, made a big mistake. And he rates the day with golf balls. So if it's 5 golf balls, then, you got to get out of the house and do something. If it's 1 golf ball, it's for polar bears only. And it's really cute. It's really cute.
All right. So interestingly enough, I did put in Boone weather and the actual site is Ray's weather.
Ray's Weather.
It is Ray's weather. So,
Ray's weather.
so there's Ray's weather. So that's kind of fun. Chill continues, rain returns. Interesting.
Okay, see the golf balls?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Partly sunny, seasonably cool.
And there's a legend, I think, down below that explains the golf balls. Or it used to. And there's a photo of the day. Ray Russell, that's him. That's him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very pretty. I'm looking for the legend.
Yeah. There it is.
Golf-o-meter. It's a golf-o-meter. Ducks or
Golf-o-meter.
polar bears? That's fun. That's a lot of fun. Thank you very much for sharing that.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to add that one to the list. Raise weather. All right. Any other comments, additions to the weather discussion?
In,
Have you ever looked at NOAA's?
Yes, many times.
Okay.
In fact, for those of you who are in the Keys or occasionally in the Keys, for boaters, we used this all of the time. Let's see if I can pull it up. Initially, what wants to happen is they want it to come up with hurricane, but let's do the whole thing so that you can see the process. All right. So I just typed in NOAA. It wanted to show me NOAA hurricane, but I'm going to go to just NOAA itself. And then I'm going to look for the NOAA search sites, and I'm going to say Molasses Reef. All right. Molasses Reef. Oh, this is an article. It's been so long since I have looked at these pages. Weather. Let's see, let's call it waves instead. Because what we would do is determine where we were actually going to go. I worked at Pennicamp and photo contest. Seriously.
Hmm.
National Marine Sanctuary. Let's just try this and see if it's going to do it. It's been a while. Okay. No, this is going to talk all about the reefs. All right. I will figure out where it is because it was just it was on my phone and I went there instantly, but it's not easy to find. But what you do is it shows you a map of the towers that are on the reef systems. So whether you're going to go Bayside or Oceanside, you could click on that specific tower. Now, the Molasses Data Tower had been out for years when I left in, let's see, the park closed down in 2020 for COVID. So prior to that, I would say at least 2 years, that particular one, the data had been out and we kept complaining and calling NOAA and going, look at, you have a huge dive industry, snorkeling, diving, fishing. This matters a lot. And they wouldn't fix the tower. So we weren't able to get correct information. So we would go north of there. There's a tower and I'm forgetting which one it is. I want to say Carey's Fort, but it might have been the one up in Miami. And they had a data tower there and it would show us wave height, and that's critical. When you are taking a boat out, is it going to be a 1 to 2 foot day? Or is it going to be a 6 to 8 foot day? Big difference whether or not where you're going to go, wind forecast, wind finder has always been my favorite, whether I was racing sailboats or going out on the reef for snorkeling and diving. I ended up going ahead and buying Windfinder Pro because it gave me so much more detailed information as well as extended forecasts and was highly, highly accurate. So I'm going to write those two down too, just so you have a nice big list. Whether you fish or just like to go out and look at the sunset, or you race sailboats. Really, really important to know what the wind is doing because that's going to make or break your day when you're on the water. Betty, I know that Claude must have used a lot of those apps in his work with the auxiliary.
Yeah, actually not, but he at one time was a captain, took people fishing, and then it was important then.
Yep. Yeah. Did you go out on just, for fun? Did you have a boat and just go out for fun?
Yeah. And it's was a good offshore boat, but it sank at the dock, and we replaced it with a pontoon boat, which at that point in our lives was, you just walk from the dock onto the boat. It was a lot easier and worked out fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had a variety of boats my whole life, and my last boat was a pontoon because you could put a whole bunch of dive and snorkel gear on a pontoon boat. The problem is any kind of wave height at all, and you don't want to be on a pontoon boat. So it's a trade-off.
Bayside, so it works out well.
Yeah, Bayside much easier. Great for sunsets, great for picnics,
Right.
great for just
Right.
taking out, um, guests and visitors who aren't used to being on the water at all. Inlanders, take those out on the Bayside on a
Mhm.
pontoon boat, and you're gonna have a good day. Plus, we could load a whole bunch of paddle boards on a base on a pontoon boat. Adina.
Okay, just another quick story. So many, many years ago, we took friends came to visit, and we took them to the reef. Well, she gets very, very seasick, but she thought the reef was like a place where she could get off and go onto a concession stand and just sit, maybe have something to drink. So we got there, and she said, "Where's the reef?" And we told her it was under the boat, and she was begging for a rescue helicopter. So we took her back. We took her back.
So I love that.
I do
That
too.
is not uncommon. It's insane.
Yeah.
Working at the park, I kept a little tiny notebook in my pocket and I would write down the insane things that people said.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I started asking the park rangers because I didn't get everybody who visited the park. I got just the people who went on the boats. They got everybody who came through the gate. And I would say, you tell me your best stories. And they would tell me crazy stuff. Not only that, somebody once asked whether or not you could picnic on the reef. Like, did they have picnic tables? Somebody else complained and actually wrote a review that they could not believe that the state park had seaweed on the beach, and it was gross. Now, state parks in Florida have a mandate to be as natural as possible. So they don't groom the beaches. They don't take the natural stuff off. And those times when there's like this weird reversal of winds and all of the Sargasso seaweed comes into the Keys and it's just disgusting because it's piled up, feet high and it smells so bad. They don't do anything about it because it's natural. It's part of the nature experience. And people complain about that stuff. But yeah, it's so much fun. People ask the craziest questions, just the craziest questions. All right, so let's move on to some other nature apps. How many people have used iNaturalist? Okay. So if you're outside and you have a curiosity about what you're looking at, so in our day-to-day lives, people don't necessarily, like I'm a science nerd, so I might be an exception in this room, but when I go outside and I see something, I want to know what it is. I just have a natural curiosity about what am I looking at here, especially when it's something out of the norm. You can walk along and see the same thing every single day. But for instance, how many people know what a gumbo limbo tree is?
Mhm.
Okay. And do you know what its not so nice name is that's derogatory?
Tourist tree.
It's the tourist tree. Why is that?
because its bark is red and peely.
So for folks who live in the Keys, you get that joke. Red and peely bark tourist tree. Exactly.
Oh,
And so, learning, I know I've lived here since I was 30, I guess. I've lived here in Western North Carolina, the mountains area. And so at that time I worked for an environmental company and we taught kids nature. And we would take them out and we would teach them about nature. Well, I had to learn all this stuff. I go to Florida and like Gumbo Limbo was the one tree I could identify because the rest of it was like, I don't know, it's a green tree. It's a green plant. I don't know what it is. If it wasn't an orchid, it was a plant, you know? And so it was like a whole new world to me of all of these plants. And so having an app where you could hover over something, take a picture, and then identify it with the app is so useful because I just have that curiosity about things. Now, Google Lens does that already built into the camera. Very easy to see what is this thing, hover over it, tap on it. It's going to give me a bunch of choices. And then I can say, oh yeah, that looks like about it. Things like iNaturalist, let me make sure I get it right. iNaturalist is an app that does that, but it also connects you to a community, an international community of people who are interested in the same thing. So you go outside and you see it's Halloween, so we're gonna say you see a big spider on your back porch, and your first question is what? I don't care if you hate spiders or love spiders, your very first thought is going to be what?
will it
What
bite me?
is
Sting.
Is it poisonous?
Yeah.
Is that spider really going to hurt me? I
Mhm.
might be terrified of spiders. I'm not. I love spiders, but I might be terrified of them. But the real reason is this going to cause me permanent damage?
Right.
So is it a black widow, right? And what's
Mm,
the other super poisonous spider here that hurts us?
I don't
Really?
know.
A brown recluse.
Oh,
In the eastern
Oh.
US, there are two spiders that can
hurt.
make
Yeah.
you feel pretty bad, and that's black widow. Now, black widows are super easy to know. It's shiny black. It's beautiful. It's like black, 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 black. And if there's any way for you to get and look under its belly, which most of us are not poking around going, roll over now, it's got that red hourglass shape on its belly. So super easy. Brown recluse, not so easy because there are many spiders that look similar to a brown recluse. Does anybody know the identification for a brown recluse?
Mm-mm.
It looks like it has a fiddle on its back.
Yeah.
A very dark, so it's a brown spider and brown recluse. And but on its back there is a pattern that looks very, very, very much like a fiddle, like a real fiddle. And so, and there are some other spiders that you kind of go, is that a fiddle? Is that a fiddle or a violin? Depends on what kind of music it's playing. But so by having an app that identifies what those particular things are, now you can say, well, I'm just going to stay away. It's a spider. Um, However, people get bit by spiders not because they were messing with them. It's because they didn't, know that they were there or they didn't pay any attention to it. So at least being able to identify your spiders, knowing that, oh, I'm going to get a bite like, a mosquito bite, or I'm going to get a bite that maybe I should go get an antidote for. And brown
Mhm.
recluse are pretty bad. I had a friend, not to scare you, but it is Halloween week. I had a friend who was trying on clothes in a department store. There was a brown recluse in the clothing, and it
Oh,
bit her. I'm sorry, but it bit her in the butt.
oh.
And not only did she have a really bad bite with it, she had to have surgery because what happens with spider bites is their venom actually creates necrosis, tissue dying. It spiders eat by dissolving their food. And
Mhm.
so what's in their spider sacs and their poison sacs are is a enzyme kind of thing that breaks down tissue. It's
Mhm.
really easy to break down our tissue. And so, we have the tissue on the outside, skeleton on the inside. What most spiders eat are things that have skeleton on the outside and tissue on the inside. They eat insects, right? Which is why I love spiders, because I love the fact that they rid the world of a lot of other insects. So you've got this hard shell on the outside and this soft body in the inside. So a spider will inject the venom. It will, sorry if you're in breakfast mode, it will liquefy the inside and then they just drink it. And that's what they do when they inject us. And so the tissue starts to die. So my friend literally has a little chunk out of her butt because they had to cut it away so
Wow.
that so that they would get all of the parts that were trying to dissolve her tissue. So spider bites are not something like a
Wow.
mosquito bite if they're the two poisonous ones.
Mm.
Now, I don't know anyone who's been bitten by a black widow. Thankfully, they're so easy to identify. But all that being said, if you don't know what these things look like, how many people are going to go to the library and go look it up? Or how many people have a spider identification book?
I,
I vote go to the library.
Okay. Or you can have an app like
I
iNaturalist.
know, I know.
Which is really, really useful because with iNaturalist, there's this whole community kind of thing. It's like an app, but it's a blog. You can upload something like they'll have Spider Week. They'll have identify, 10 different spiders, take pictures and upload and identify. And that's what builds the database is that, you allow permission for location and to your photo files. And so I'll take a picture of a spider, I'll put it in iNaturalist, I'd be able to identify it. Plus, it adds to the database of spiders that live here, specifically in my neighborhood, because it's very location specific. Medina.
Okay, so on my iPhone, I take a picture of a plant, and my nephew showed me, and I don't know if it's built into the iPhone or if it's an app. I don't think I have an app, but when I take a picture, I press, I think, under the picture, there's a little circle with an eye in it.
Information, yeah.
Yeah. And it tells me what the name of the scientific name of the plant and the colloquial name of the plant.
Yeah.
Is that built into iPhones or is it in?
It is. Just like with Google Lens, it used to be, and let me see if I can, here we go. So here's a lovely picture of some flowers that I took this past weekend. And so while, am I in nature? Yeah, I mean, these are cultivated planted flowers. But what used to be was down at the bottom here, let's get these in focus. There was a little, right now there's only these four, but there was Google Lens. They moved it, and I don't know why, I'm unhappy about it, but they did move it. It's now up here in my three dots. So when I click on my three dots, I get Google Lens. So when I tap on Google Lens, I didn't. Tapping backwards is, all right. Tap on Google Lens, and here's what happens. It does the whole picture, but I want to hone in on just these flowers. So I'm going to move the little edges so that I can just identify these flowers. Now, if I look down below, I can scroll, and there are the flowers. So I'm going to put it backwards now. So, angel wing begonia. Now, I happen to know they were angel wing begonias, but as I look, I'm going to get a ton of websites that show me, is this it? Is this exactly it? And then I kind of determine which one do I want to look at? Do I want to look at somebody's Facebook post? No, not very scientific. Do I want to look at Reddit? Probably not. Do I want to look at Orange County something or other? Probably not. I don't live in Orange County. I've got My Garden Life, I've got garden.com, I've got all kinds of Facebook, WordPress, Mystery Plant. None of these are very scientific based. So Pinterest, am I going to go there to see what it actually is? Well, if I look at any of these, though, it is giving me the word angel wing begonia. So on the side here is angel wing begonia. So I'm going to tap on that one. And then that brings me to country living. It brings me to the AI answer, which is, begonias. And then I can go into more detail here. And I can also find, through Wikipedia, through a variety. Now we're starting to get to somewhere that I might trust, and that is the Chicago Botanical Garden. I assume that the Botanical Garden is going to have some scientists there, some horticulturists at least, some botanists maybe, National Gardening Association, another place where I'm going to actually look for it. Wikipedia, maybe that's going to be a compilation of things. Country living, probably not. So this one is a cultivated plant, so it's a little bit more, you know, garden based. But if I'm walking in the woods up here and there is a native plant, then when I do that, I'm going to get much more scientific based knowledge. So Google Lens and your iPhone identification, it's a circle with an I in it, and that's the universal symbol for more information. And you tap on that and you're going to get exactly what that is. And that's for a very simple identification. Now, with iNaturalist, you're going to have a big database. Terry's a butterfly today. I'm glad she came in costume.
Did you get that on iNaturalist?
I love it. Beautiful. So, and in doing research for this class today, I found another one. It's called Seek. Seek? Yes, it's just called Seek. It's an app. It's called Seek, and it is actually sponsored by iNaturalist. People whose articles I read, and I'm going to share those articles with you because they're compilations, they liked Seek a lot better. iNaturalist is a lot more geeky, a lot more science nerdy, and connects you with this science nerd community. Seek, not so much. Seek is just going to give you the information, like having a little portable, nature guide in your pocket that doesn't take up much space. So if you are interested at all in the natural world, go with Seek. The next one is my favorite, absolute favorite. And that is Merlin. How many people have the Merlin app? Oof. How many people ever are out anywhere in nature and go, huh, I wonder what kind of bird that is?
Well, there's the Merlin app.
Merlin is amazing. So this is powered by Cornell Ornithology Lab. So it is a fantastic database. When you get the app, what you want to do is you want to download the bird pack for your region. And when I traveled, when I went up to Canada, I downloaded that bird pack. When I went to Alaska, I downloaded that bird pack because in the West, you're going to get entirely different birds than you get in the East. If you go to, well, we went to Costa Rica, same thing. Now, when you do this, first thing you can do step by step. Where did you see the bird? So I'm going to back up one. You've got step by step, sound ID, or photo ID. If you're good enough to take a picture of a bird that can actually be identified, you're way too close. It's so hard, so hard. But step by step, I saw a fleeting thing of the bird. Now it's gone, but I'm going to try and identify it. Where did you see it? So it automatically goes to where am I right now because I've allowed permission. So it says Franklin, North Carolina. I can also tap on the map and say I saw it here. So I'm going to say Franklin, and I'm going to tap on that. And then it's going to say, when did you see it? Okay, I saw it today. So I'm going to say next. And then it says, how big was the bird? Was it big like a honkin' goose or tiny like this little brown bird in the bushes? So I'm going to tap on the little brown birds because those are always the hardest ones to see anyway. Okay, sparrow size or smaller. Does everybody know how big a sparrow is? I
Mhm.
mean, that's
Yes.
pretty generalized information, yeah. So then I click next. Now it gives me some colors, basic color ranges. What color is it? So I'm going to say it was buff brown with some white streaks, and I can pick three, and it had a little bit of black in it. All right. So I clicked all of those. Now I'm going to click next. Next question, was the bird eating at a feeder, swimming or wading, on the ground, in trees or bushes, on a fence or wire, or soaring or flying? So I'm going to say in the trees or bushes. Then I'm going to click next. And then it says, it asked me, okay, I didn't say yellow, but all right, it says, was it a goldfinch? And you can say, this is my bird. And so very distinct, bright yellow bird. No, you kind of got that wrong. But it's funny because I didn't say anything about yellow. I'm going to go back and I'm going to take off the black and just do white and brown. And then I'm going to say it was in the trees or the bushes. Now it gives me, was it a song sparrow? Was it a Carolina wren? And I keep scrolling. Was it a goldfinch? Was it a brown, ovenbird? I thought it was a brown thrasher, looking it up backwards. Was it a brown creeper? Was it a purple finch? And so you can get all of these pictures of these birds and go, oh yeah, maybe it looked like that. And you can really see the details. You go, was it a savanna sparrow or was it a chipping sparrow? It's like to people who aren't into birding, a sparrow is a sparrow is a sparrow. However, whoops, I tapped it too much. So when I look at the difference, okay, a savanna sparrow does not have an orange head. The chipping sparrow has a really nice orangish crown on it. So I go, okay, I saw something that was on the top, so maybe this was it. I can also scroll sideways and go, oh, well, there's the non-breeding adult immature, so not as bright. Keep scrolling, immature, juvenile, looks very different and looks like that other bird I was just looking at. So lots of choices for what does it look like. What I like a lot about this, if I go to information on it, I can do this. Did it sound like that at all? Or did it
Wow.
sound like this?
We can't hear that.
You can't hear this?
No.
Trust
What,
me. It's very cool.
Yeah,
This is Merlin.
yeah, it sounds great.
Merlin. Martin.
what app was that again? I missed it.
Merlin.
Oh, Merlin, thank you.
Merlin, yes. So then if I say, this is my bird, then it adds it to the list and it says, it looks like you saw this bird here at Buckeye Branch. No, I'm not at Buckeye Branch. That's very funny. I'm at Stillhouse Road. It's at Stillhouse Branch, not.
Good.
Yeah, okay, we'll say yes. And it says confirm sighting and then save. So then this goes into the database and it says, congratulations, you have a new life list edition. So great. So if I don't do it that way, I can also, which that one's, you've got to get some good information about it. The other thing that I do all the time is right here, Sound ID. I tap on that and it's going to take in all of the bird sounds that are happening around me. So if I go to my Sound ID sessions, last time I did this, 1023, and what birds was I hearing? So I go to my Sound ID sessions and I tap on it and then it pulls it up. When I have a Sound ID, it brings up the picture of the bird so I can then tap on it and learn more about that bird. I can also tap this and it's going to play all of the bird songs that were happening while I was there camping in the woods. So I absolutely love this app because it gives me so much information and great ways to go, okay, I was here and listen to all these bird sounds. What am I listening to? Really, really fun. So I like that one a lot. There are some other bird apps that are out there. eBird is one of them. Read some reviews about them. People, I think that was an early one. People don't really like it as much as they like Merlin. So
Lovely. All
there
right.
is that.
Good.
Merlin is the best. Anybody have anything about any nature apps that they've used? Okay, gonna move on. Kind of funny. There's one called Lifelines. It is a Portuguese app. It is roadkill.
What?
Identifying roadkill. Okay.
Oh, I'll pass on that one.
Well, I think what they do is they use it as a reporting so that whoever the powers that be come and get it off the road.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Useful. If you've got a deer in the middle of your road or you've got a skunk right by your mailbox, useful to report. You know, it's not morbid curiosity. I think it's a for helping to identify where they are and to get them up and gone. Terry.
When we were driving this year around from New Jersey, from North Jersey to Atlanta, we just took some different roads and kept seeing different birds and things like that. And I had just been doing the Apple, just identifying it. But all summer, I was just so aware of all the different birds that are up there. And we've been getting at our bird feeder here in the Keys, these little gray birds that look like sparrows, but have no identify, and we never had them before.
Huh.
Here. So I don't know. So I
if
kind of
it's-
started to look this up, and anyway, it was kind of funny, but at the same time, it led to so much stuff about everybody and what happened and what was, which was really, I don't know. It was just very funny that it went from this sort of question to the news.
So if it's at your feeder, using the Merlin photo ID is a great way to do it because you can be close enough to a bird to get a picture of it, depending on where your feeder is. But that's the one way. Out in nature, taking a hike, very, very hard to be close enough to a bird to get a picture. The other thing is that once you start to identify things like that, you don't have to remember it, but like, oh, I know how hawks in general look. What's the difference between a hawk? You may see a very small hawk. There's a kind of a bird called a kestrel, and looks like a baby hawk, but it is full grown and it's only about, its body is probably only this big, and his tail is probably at least half that size. So altogether, it's this big, but we think of hawks as big things, which they generally are. The other thing is when we were in the Bay of Fundy, we heard what sounded like a baby screaming in the tree. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a bald eagle. Because I've heard bald eagles before and know that they have this horrific, very unpredator-like scream. It's horrifying, but it's not scary insofar as, oh my gosh, I should be afraid for my life. I'm like, what's being killed over there? Oh, it's that bird screaming like a little baby. Medina.
So several years ago, we had a severely injured fox walk across our property near the garage, right? So I don't know, we figured out who to call. They came, and the guy put the fox out of its misery, whacked it, and then loaded it into his truck and then handed us a bill for $75.
So you didn't call the Department of Natural Resources.
I don't remember who we called.
You
but
probably called an exterminator.
no, no, no,
No?
no. We called somebody that, like a county,
Really?
yeah, yeah.
Wow. I've never heard of being charged for that. I called the all of our roads are Department of Transportation, the North Carolina, they're all state roads. And so I called DOT about a skunk that was literally at my mailbox. They came and got it within like 2 hours and I never heard from them again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, another one that's really fun that I just discovered is called Peak Visor. And Peak Visor, I haven't had a chance to play with it because I just downloaded it this morning, but it's an app where you can be standing and point your camera and it'll tell you what mountain you're looking at. Now you
Wow.
think, oh, what difference does that make? I mean, why would that matter? Well, if I go to, I'm going to go to Waya Bald, which is pretty much the tallest mountain here in my county. And let's go ahead and visit that for a minute. All right, so come back and share it with you. Okay, so here's Waya Bald. Here's the tower. And you can't see my mouse. There's the tower. And so you can stand in this tower and alongside the edges here, it points to which mountains you're looking at. But I mean, look at how many little peaks we have. And this is a really pretty bad picture. There we go. That's a better picture. When you're actually at the tower and looking out and you go, oh, what's that one? What's that one? What's that one? Well, with this app, it's pretty cool because you can identify it just by pointing your phone at it,
Mhm.
which is really fun, especially when you're looking at mountains where you are right now.
Mhm.
You know, if you're never going to climb that mountain, but you go, oh yeah, I saw the Matterhorn, you know, wherever it is that you are, pretty neat, pretty neat, especially when you have one that's very prominent. So I have not played with it. I am going to play with it. I haven't even signed in or accepted anything yet. But it says it starts with a demo. So this is brand new to me, and it shows you how it operates. See the skyline, tap a label for details, explore the 3D map. So kind of fun. I'll be playing with that one some more. Another one is Chimani. Chimani, and this is National Park app, which is not sponsored by the national parks, but it says find parks, any national park, national forest, national wildlife refuge, national monument, and our growing list of state parks. You can record your visits, track your visits, and you have 70 plus guidebooks right here in this app. So I wish I had found this a long time ago. No cell signal? No problem. They work without a cell signal, including the maps. The GPS will still be used without a cell signal. How cool is that? So do I allow it to use my location? Yes, and I can say while using the app, only this time or don't allow. I always say while using the app. So I don't need it to track where I am all the time, but I want to use it effectively while I'm using it. So right now it comes up, the top is historic parks, and there is Oconee Station. There is Great Smoky Mountains National Park, which is just about an hour away. Carl Sandburg Home, Hiawassee River, so Fort Yargo, and then Nanahalan National Forest. This is where I live. I live in the National Forest. So fun app. I'm going to explore some more.
Can you
We are
spell it? Spell it again?
Chimani,
Yeah.
and I will send that in the email. We are out of time. And so very quickly, I want to know, what should we talk about next week?
Mhm.
How about it as an invasion into your computer by an outside source and you can't get rid of it?
Oh, my.
Okay.
I
Invasion.
had that with McAfee. Well, my subscription ran out and they kept posting in my computer. And I tried everything, the normal control, alternate, delete thing, and I just couldn't get rid of it. Gave it to a friend of mine. He said, go on their website, and on their website, there is a place you can get it off your computer through their own website. And this was through McAfee. Anyway, you might want to investigate that during the week, and we can
Okay.
chat
like
about
it.
it next time.
Invasions. We'll
I
call
gotta
it
go. I'll
invasion.
see you soon, ladies. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Betsy.
very much.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bob,
Thank
do
you,
you have an
Betsy.
announcement?
No, I don't have an announcement. I was
Okay.
just like putting it to class.
Okay. Don't forget that Joy runs entirely on donations.
Yep.
So we love all of our wonderful donors that keep Joy going. And there is a big showcase happening in December. We want to make sure that people, if you're in the Keys in December, that you go to that. If you are the kind that likes to really get involved, there are opportunities to play along in the dance classes and with the ukulele group. So have fun. Have a great week.
Thank
I
you,
will
Betsy.
see you next
Thank you.
Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.